So we got a king of the United States right now, huh? Interesting time to be alive, right? I feel like with the political climate the way it is, especially for people, kind of dealing with their mental health, this can be pretty trying. So I just wanted to make a quick video, just talking about what it's like being, in this climate while trying to deal, because we all know the insanity happening right now can make you think about a lot of stuff or distract you or overwhelm you. And so I thought I'd just, talk about how we can not let that really get to us. Um, there's going to be a lot of emotional uh, intensity, from now until November, and who knows, maybe even after. But that's normal, and I just want you to know that the things that you feel when you're feeling overwhelmed or you feel, uh, like things are getting crazy, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's natural to feel that way. Things are getting kind of insane. So um, don't worry too much about, if you're feeling it. Take a break. Take a break when you've had a lot of you know political stuff or people's opinions or whatever. Just kind of shut yourself off and focus on something that you really like and you really enjoy doing. You owe it to yourself. Don't try to get too involved in it, because I've done it before and it never works out. If you want to have discussions with people, that's always a good thing, but always keep it to the facts and always try to keep it, emotionally down, which I know for people like us, it can be really difficult, because we have this natural, inkling to go hard, you know. Um, if you are paying attention to politics, if you're involved in stuff like that, it can be even more. It can be even more of a challenge. It can be more frustrating. Um, I think the whole what's working for me is keep things in perspective. Like, so, for example, there's lots of people with lots of good points about things, but at the end of the day, we have a choice of voting for, the continuation of democracy, or we are voting for our first dictatorship. Me personally, I have seen how dictatorships work around the world and through history, and they never really go well for anybody except the dictator. So that being said, I listen to and I pay attention to what everybody's talking about, what they're doing. However, come November, I'm voting Democrat across the board, and I understand that Democrat has its problems too. But like I said, for the sake of simplifying things, um, and again, at the end of the day, one side has people in mind, and the other side doesn't like people, and I think that's actually really what it comes down to. Is I think you can really tell the good from the bad just by looking at how humanist they are, right? So, for example, left-leaning people are always looking to help people. They view people who are who have less opportunities or resources as somebody who needs help, and understands that we do better when we all do better together. So the more society is succeeding, the better society will be. And the other side of it is when people view people as non-people. They will refer to them as non-human terms, and they view them as a burden. Conservatives tend to not want people to be people, right? And so what they want is everybody to be the same. We want you to be straight, white, cisgender, never do anything strange or odd or anything. Just be this, you know, statue. Be the only this one thing, and that's not how human beings are. Human beings are very, very, very diverse and exploratory and creative and interesting and smart. And so you can really kind of narrow it down by just listening to somebody talk. Do they talk about people hopeful? Do they talk about good ideas? Do they talk about big concepts? Or do they talk about people as who need to be punished, who need to be put down, who need to be made fun of, who need to be insulted? And that's really all it comes down to for me. Um, you know, we we could go back and forth forever, but the reality is, I think that once you start seeing who people are for how they view humanity as a whole, it really tells you everything you need to know about them. At least from a political perspective. Obviously, it takes time to get to know people and know what they're really about. But for a broad level, though, anybody who's pushing any kind of agenda where it is one person's domination and control over having talks and discussions about things, being shared in a group, you can see who's doing it for selfish reasons and who's not. Um, and I know I'm sorry to put my own political spew on this, but like I just want to share some advice that I'm never telling anybody who to vote for or who not to vote for. But at the same time, I do hope that anybody who'd be watching this video would vote humanist. There's only one choice here, right? So either we want people to be safe and happy in the world they're in coming out, or we want to punish people for being different. And so that's really a personal decision we all make. And for me, good or bad, people are people. But at the same time, I think people need to have the freedom to be themselves and be supported. And I think when society embraces this, we move forward and we do better. I think when we keep telling people they're not allowed to be who they are, it's a setback, and it just creates friction among ourselves. So we never really reach our potential, because the life we could have been spending working together to create things and make things happen, we spend all that energy instead fighting with each other. And I don't want to do that, and I don't want to spend all my day doing that. And in past elections, that's kind of how the mindset I would get into is I would feel hopeless, or I would feel overwhelmed, or I would feel that what's the point of any of this? But I just want you to know that the way things seem can be intimidating. However, we have a lot of control over what's happening, and a lot of it is our focus, and a lot of it is our own mentality. So, when you want to talk to people about it, simply tell them you're voting for Biden or you're voting Democrat because, you're anti-fascist. You don't want a dictatorship. It seems pretty simple these days, especially after the whole SCOTUS ruling that has made our president king now. That's just crazy, right? But I think that's a huge part of it is, anybody who has, grown up kind of thinking that the world's kind of crazy as it is, now we're seeing more proof than ever of it. And so it makes people very nervous. But that's why I wanted to make this video. That, there's other people out there who feel like you do, and I want you to know that, hey, we got this. Take it one day at a time, and just support each other. That is probably the best thing we can do for each other. Just support each other. And especially if you're in the LGBT community, be particularly supportive of other people in our own community, because we know that all of us have gone through these trials and troubles and discriminations and everything. So in our community, just, I get it. People can be annoying sometimes, and we all can. We're human beings. But at the end of the day, if you just extend a little understanding and a little more patience to people who have had more than their share of life challenges growing up, and mostly because of the way society ruled things, it just makes for a better community. So just do your best to be just a little nicer to people, and do your best to just kind of support people when you can. And that's going to make a huge difference, not just politically, but in our daily life. So, well, I hope this video made you feel a little better, and I hope that we all band together and really come together this November, because we've come so far as a country, and it'd be such a shame to go the way of Germany, right? We are more, even though it can be really frustrating, and even though it can be overwhelming, we are more tolerant and open-minded than ever. You know, the fact that we can have conversations about things today that, you know, when I was a kid were just taboo and you were not allowed is big. It's huge. And I really feel hopeful for, you know, another 20 years from now. But this stuff never comes easy. It never comes easy. So just remember that we're fighting the good fight and we're doing it because we love people. And that's it. So take care, be good to each other. See you next video.